In this series, I will try to answer the 10 most common questions I'm getting in this channel, like monitor settings, FOV settings, force feedback settings for different wheels and games, favorite pedals and basses, my sitting position, VR or triples, how much this rig actually costs, how I shoot those onboard videos, and the list goes on. So let's get it done. It is very important to watch that video with the proper mindset, so be open-minded and don't trust blindly whatever I'm gonna say or any other content creator for that matter. Make sure to test as many suggestions as possible and trust your own senses, because at the end of the day it will be your own experience and only the way you personally feel matters. I will share different settings I came up after many years of testing, but I'm sure in the next 10 years all those may change because I keep myself open-minded and constantly looking for improvements. So the most common question I am getting is about my monitor size, settings, angle and distance, and those are 32-inch 1440p 144 Hz 1 milliseconds response time with very slight curve of 1500 R, for which I finally found a way to bring at 56 cm distance from my eyes in every direction at 130 degrees angle. From that distance I managed to fully cover my peripheral vision, and bringing the physical wheel to 21 cm finally matched the proper perspective between my physical world and the virtual one. Now everything matching size. The 130 degrees angle with that slight curve also gives me the best possible results I can get from the bezel-free kit. So again, 32-inch size and 130 degrees, 56 centimeters from each monitor, and eye level at dead center are my favorite settings after years of testing. Question number 2 is the FOV settings I use, and that must be the most controversial topic in sim racing. Here is where I need you to stay open-minded, because I don't think anyone ever found universal solution for the wide range of monitors. There are so many different cases with different sizes and different distances we use, and every part of those different cases have huge impact. So I will share what I use exactly with my 32-inch screens in that distance, why I use them that way, and you just have to try, and if you don't like them, stay open-minded and keep looking for your best solution. Let's start with ACC. The calculator asked me to set the different numbers and create the FOV. If I do that, however, I'm not really happy. Let's add those numbers and check the results. You remember, my eye distance is 56, so I will add 560 mm, screen width is 710 mm, the bezel kit will sit perfect in my case at -4. The monitors are at 130 degrees inside, which means if that is the middle and that the side screen and 180 degrees is the straight line, 130 is this angle here, and the angle on the back must be 50. So hit save, and here are the results. Now the world looks symmetric in comparison to the virtual car, but feels little small to my real environment. If I adjust the camera distance to make it match with my cockpit, the in-car camera grows, but the outside world stays the same, and I start losing the feeling of the car size. With that perspective, I'm touching more often the objects around. So the original settings are probably the most correct ones, but I want the world bigger for a bit more immersion. The way I do it is I go back to monitor settings and we'll move one of those two numbers. Keep in mind though, making the world bigger, we compress the distances and that can feel different. Around 660 mm feels nice to my eyes, so I will go back to the camera settings and adjust the height and pitch, but keep the distance here close to 0. I keep that symmetry between the car and the outside world, and I have a bit more awareness where exactly my car sits in relation to the objects outside. That being said, to make the world bigger and match my real environment here, I had to actually zoom the picture, which means I compressed the virtual world. Are those settings the perfect ones? I have no idea, but they feel right to me, and that's what really matters. What I really found over the years is that the physical distance between your eyes and the monitors have the biggest impact in FOV settings. So if you are on 27 to 32 inches monitors or those 49 inches ultra wide, around 60 centimeters must be the sweet spot for those sizes. Now, let's move to iRacing. If I add the real numbers and compute, will give me FOV of 177, which in perspective must be good for awareness and sense of speed, but I just don't like the world size. So here is what I personally prefer. If I add 610mm screen width and calculate, will give me 165 FOV. And now that looks way more natural to my eyes. To adjust further to match the surrounding, we'll go in the replay mode, onboard camera, and press the Ctrl and F12 to bring the camera to. From here we'll adjust the camera position and match with the size which feels correct to me for each car individually and safe. But again, I try to be very careful with those camera settings because the way monitors work is they make the car bigger in comparison to the outside world, and I really start losing connection with the size of the car. If I start touching walls and different objects, that means I have gone too far with the camera settings and I lost the feeling of the size. So try to stay as close to zero as possible to the suggested camera settings from the game itself. About the Automobilista settings, those are still something I try to understand, and I won't even touch those as I haven't yet found something which makes me happy. Now, many people in the past have said they know how to achieve the best FOV, including me. The truth is, as much as I scam into that topic, that much more I understand how complex and individual is. If you are open-minded and test as many suggestions you can find, that much more chance you have to find the best settings for your own experience. Test, and through your own senses decide what you like the most. Question number 3. VR or triples? Which I like the most? Well, I love them both. For immersive experience, nothing can beat the VR except the real thing. I use it for many years. The reason I built that rig is because I wanted to touch nets, gauges while I'm in the VR. That being said, triples are so comfortable, particularly for long races. That's why I have them both. Question number 4. From where I'm getting the Alcantara to dress the different parts of the rig. I found those on eBay and have used 10 different brands, which looks the same to me from quality point of view, so we'll pin a comment with some eBay links. Question number 5. How I shoot immersive onboards. GoPro Hero 10, strap it to my head with very specific settings for maximum quality. 5K resolution, max ISO of 260 FPS per second. Then I put some exposure gain in the game settings for more bright picture, as the camera sensor introduced lots of noise in low light conditions and turned on many lamps around. The game sound is recorded separately with OBS and I synco in Premiere Pro. So I will end the video here as I don't want to make it overwhelming, and in the next episode I will answer the next 5 most common questions about my force feedback settings, which is my favorite wheelbase, pedals, my sitting position, the list goes on, so stay tuned.